Welcome, dear learners. In continuation of our previous module in which we discussed author matrix H index, let us elaborate this with some other details of the author matrix in this particular module. After completing this module, you will be able to learn about the H index and some more author level metrics. We will be covering some author IDs and some miscellaneous metrics. We will be covering this module under the heads factors affecting H index, importance of H index across the disciplines, I-10 index, G index, author IDs, and then miscellaneous metrics. So let's begin elaborating the author level matrices. Now, let's continue our discussion on the H index. We discussed what is the H index. Now, let us discuss the factors affecting H index. Factors on which H index is dependent on. First of all, number of papers and number of citations. The very first factor. For obvious reasons, higher the number of papers, higher the number of citations, higher the chances of having the H index. For obvious reasons, because as per the definition, it is number of papers cited number of times. Next factor is field of research and the subject. In most of the cases, science researchers, biomedical sciences, and other allied disciplines, the researchers who are working in those disciplines, researchers who are working in the hot topics, get the more citations, and that's why they have the higher H index as compared to the arts and humanities and social sciences research. Next factor is presence of articles in impact and accessible journals. The easy access and broad readership of a journal also increases citation and hence the H index. Stage of career. Obviously, a senior researcher generally has the higher H index because he has published or she has published a good number of papers as compared to the fresh entrant in the research area. Next factor is other miscellaneous factors include the type of papers, whether the type of paper is methodological or it is the review paper. It is one of the important factors. The innovative research papers, they are cited more as compared to other kind of papers. The pioneer research work for review papers, for obvious reasons, are cited more. For example, you remember we discussed the Hertz 2005 paper. Being pioneer, it is cited highly and hence plays a vital role in improving H index of the author. Now let us discuss H index in academic recognition. In general, higher the H index, greater the researcher in terms of productivity and impact. This is the simple mean and effective mean of comparing the potential of researchers. In general, in the biomedical sciences, if the H index is less than the number of years of experience of the researcher is considered to be average or below average. If it is equal to the number of years of experience of the researcher, then the researcher is a successful researcher. And if H index is greater than the number of years of experience, the researcher is considered to be the expert, or you can say the excellent researcher. This is an indication of potential of the researcher. By just going through the H index, we can have the idea what kind of researcher he is or she is. So this gives a very easy access to the proficiency of a researcher. That's why it is very popular. We will elaborate our concept with respect to the Hertz observation, in which he observed the H index on the basis of level of career. Let's see with this table. If we see the H index for the scientist after 20 years of experience, we can predict the level of scientist. As we can see that if H index is 20, the level of scientist is successful. If it is 40, outstanding. And if it is 60, truly unique. So this table we have taken from the Hertz work from the Wikipedia. But just we summarize in earlier that higher the H index, greater than the, as we have discussed earlier, that if H index is greater than the number of years of experience, it means the researcher is really unique and outstanding. So let us elaborate this thing. Let us elaborate this thing with the effect of H index on discipline and career levels. What is the correlation, or what is the relation between the H index and discipline and career levels? Let's see with this table. Hertz observed that for physicists, H index may be the indicator of level of scientist. As mentioned in the first half of this table, an H index of 12 indicates advancement to tenure. H index 18 indicates full professorship. H index 15 to 20 indicates fellowship in the American Physical Society, while the H index 45 or above indicates the level of scientist as membership in the United States National Academy of Sciences. So the level of scientist is well indicated by the H index. While London School of Economics observed that the average index of faculty members of different disciplines were significantly different. It can be seen that H index was quite low in social sciences as compared to the researchers of sciences. We discussed in beginning of this module itself about this factor regarding the H index. It was 2.8 in law, 3.4 in political sciences, 3.7 in sociology, 6.5 in geography, and 7.6 in economics. It was also evident that a full professor in the social sciences had an H index about twice that of a lecturer or a senior lecturer, though the difference was the smallest in geography. Now let us discuss the limitations of H index. H index does not work well across all the fields due to the difference in the publication and citation practices depending on the subject and the field of research. The next limitation: databases coverage differ in publication sources and time range. As you can see, there may be difference in the Scopus H index and Scholar H index or the Web of Science H index because of databases coverage. Scholar H index was higher. Next limitation is it can be used only for comparing the researcher of same career level and same subject area. We cannot compare the researcher of arts and humanities with the researcher of sciences and life sciences or biomedical sciences. The H index will vary hugely, very significantly. Next limitation is, H index. Dear learners, H index increases only even if the researcher has stopped his work or her work, even if the researcher is no more, because the citation increases continuously with the passage of time. So that's why the H index increases only. as we have earlier mentioned and earlier discussed, that Einstein's H index is keep on moving still. Now, what is the actual scenario here? That we are unable to assess the current impact of the researcher. So this is the major limitation. We cannot assess what is the actual potential of the researcher at this moment or at this time. So that's why this is the major limitation of the H index. And last but not the least, it favors only the older scientists. Why? We have discussed it in the earlier heads also. Because it is always increasing with the passage of time. So for obvious reason, the older scientists, senior scientists will have higher H index as compared to the fresh entrants. Now let us summarize this section for you. H index depends on various factors: number of papers, number of citations, field of research, type of papers published. So H index is the indicator of the proficiency and potential of the author, and if it is equal to the number of years experience, then the researcher is considered to be successful researcher. You cannot compare the H index across the discipline, across the subject, and H index increases only. It has some limitations that it cannot compare across the subjects, across the academic level of career. So that's why it has various advantages but some limitations also. So use the H index for your CV, use it for targeting an experienced researcher for following his or her research work. Use it effectively. It is a single indicator which can help you out in the literature reviews and in doing your research work. In the next section, we will be covering some other author level metrics.